So this has been my gaming setup over the last couple of years with dual 27-inch monitors. And it has lasted the test of time over those 2 years and has really exceeded my expectations when it comes to both gaming as well as kind of multitasking when it comes to video editing, photo editing, having a large enough space to do all the things that I want to do on my PC. But I think it's time for an upgrade, and I recently reviewed the Pixio 34-inch ultra-wide 165 hertz 1440p gaming monitor, and I think it's time to introduce that monitor into this setup. But my existing monitor stand just won't support the weight of that 34-inch ultra-wide, so it's also time for a monitor arm upgrade. And we're not just going with a single 34-inch ultra-wide monitor, but instead keeping one of the 27-inch monitors as an extra screen when it comes to that multitasking situation, whether I want Discord up on another screen while I'm gaming, or I want to use File Explorer on the one screen while I'm video editing in Premiere. So we got ourselves a matching monitor arm from Pixio, and this thing is very, very impressive. The build quality on this thing is super great. Like, the box is a brick to pick up, and what's inside is very well constructed from some really good material. So everything for the most part is steel or aluminum, and it really does make you feel like it's gonna hold up these 34-inch monitors. So it can hold up dual 35-inch monitors weighing up to each 33 pounds, which is a lot of weight for dual monitors. So you can really do a dual 34-inch ultra-wide monitor setup if you wanted to use it for like a racing sim, or you could do what I'm doing with a vertical or portrait mode 27-inch monitor with that 34-inch monitor as kind of the center display. But again, it's super well constructed. You have rubber feet on the bottom of the base. It's a clamp style or a drill through style monitor mount base. And it also has some USB port capabilities as well if you wanted to route your own USB ports to the front of it. The arms are really well constructed, so a lot of the times these things come pre-built and they'll ship to you pre-built, which is a very nice feature because you don't have to put them together. But in this particular situation, the arms come detached and you can actually put it together yourself. So let's say you only wanted one of the arms on the dual monitor mount. I mean, it might look a little weird, but you could do it with this setup. You don't have to use both arms with this particular monitor arm. But it also comes at a cost. So this Pixio monitor arm comes in at right around $125, which is $75 more expensive than our existing Huanuo monitor mount that we got on Amazon a couple years ago. And this thing, again, it's done really well. It has a lot of adjustability. It maybe lacks a little bit of cable management functionality, but overall, like if I wanted to put my monitors in portrait mode or I want to just swivel them around, it's one hand and everything moves super easy. But again, it just can't cope with the weight of a 34-inch monitor, which is where something more heavy duty like this Pixio comes in. And overall, like a monitor arm mount, whether it be a single arm or a dual arm, just cleans up your setup from all the clutter that's required when it comes to like the factory stands on your monitors. Sometimes they're really, really nice. Sometimes they cost a fortune, like when it comes to Apple Pro Display XDRs. Sometimes they actually have some really nice functionality and adjustability. But if you want the maximum amount of adjustability, you want a full 180 or 360 degree rotation of your monitor, you want to be able to move it up and down, left, right, swivel, tilt, everything you could possibly want to do. It's a lot easier with a monitor arm than a monitor stand, and it clears your desk setup from all that clutter that a monitor stand introduces and opens things up for, speakers underneath your monitor or anything else. So enough preaching when it comes to monitor arms, but let's get this thing installed, see what the setup process looks like, and how easy it is to switch over from a $50, $60 monitor arm to something like this Pixio one. So one of the really nice features with the Pixio monitor mount is that the tightening of the base clamp is actually done from the top, whereas with the Huanuo, it was all done below. So instead of having to go lie under your desk and undo it from below, it's really nice to have the option to do it from above. Makes it a lot more clean and simple. It also comes with this nice wire cable management solution on the back of the bottom mount as well. And to put this thing together, you're just sliding the two base, like first arms onto the mount and then tightening up a little Allen screw just to lock those in place. perfect swivel, and everything is super nice. And then for the second half of the arm, you do have this screw-on cable management tray to hide all of your cables. And on the bottom one, it's just a slide-on mechanism, so it slides on, slides off, and you can hide all your cables within. So everything's guided along the arm, unlike with the Huanuo where everything was done with cable ties. So we'll get those second halves of the arms installed onto this Pixio mount, and again, tighten up the little Allen key just to make sure that everything is secured in place. And from the VESA mount perspective, the VESA mount comes separate, so you can attach that to the monitor, and then there's a whole bunch of different screws, washers, spacers that come included with this thing, so you have all different types of options, whereas with the Huanuo, you were screwing directly into the back of the monitor and then just sliding those screws into some locking mechanisms on the mount. So we'll get this thing installed onto our monitor arm, starting with the 27-inch one, and as you can see, super simple installation. You just have that one retention screw to keep everything in place. But of course, out of the box, this thing's like tuned for a 35-inch monitor, so those gas springs are definitely a little bit too strong. So we're gonna have to loosen a couple of bolts up in order to make sure that we have just the right amount of force feedback on these monitors. So now that we push it down or we push it up, everything stays perfectly in place. So very nice and tunable with these gas powered springs, and they are super like fine-tuned to get it just right. And when it comes to the cable management side of things, like it's super simple to get this thing set up, and it looks great. So the cables are guided right along the arm. They're then sent behind the mount into that separate cable management slot. And from like an overall perspective, like it just looks really good. Everything is hidden super nice and clean, and the final setup looks amazing. So we got our 34-inch central ultra wide, and then our secondary vertical mounted 27-inch display. And overall, like the back of this thing looks fantastic. All the cables are perfectly hidden like we just saw, and from the front it looks really good. Like you barely see the arms even there, whereas with a stand you're losing all the desk space, and plus it doesn't look super great. But overall, I would love to hear what your guys' thoughts and opinions are on this setup. If you have any questions or comments about the Pixio arm, definitely leave those down below. If you enjoyed the video, give it a thumbs up, and if you haven't already, get subscribed to the channel, and I'll see you guys in the next one.